Hello, everyone. Good morning, or I guess good evening. To those of you watching, this is Tim Watson with Meet the Masters, and I'm joined today by Master Amorim. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, good evening, sir. Well and stuff.
Thanks for joining me. You are in, how do you say it, Rustenburg, South Africa?
That's right, sir, yes.
So you
Thanks for letting
probably,
us have this opportunity.
my pleasure. Thanks for agreeing to do it. Despite your your efforts to not do it. No, I'm kidding.
Trying to hide away, yes, absolutely.
I think you the right you hold the record now for the biggest time difference, because we're 10 a.m. here in the States, and it's 5 o'clock where you are, right?
That's right, yes. Yeah, that is quite a bit of a difference, but as long as you had time to get your coffee in the morning, I think we're good.
Yes, I had coffee. I dropped my kids off to the various places they need to be, and yeah, we're ready to go.
That's fantastic.
We talked about this a little ahead of time, but how are things at your dojang in this crazy time that we're living in?
I think we've been kind of blessed through this crazy year that we've had. We were fortunate to get the heads up being behind the USA with the COVID outbreak, that we knew what to do with the school beforehand, following the instructions from the various mentors that we had in the US. Plus, our government allowed us to have special certifications to be open from July, and our schools went from Zoom back to live classes. People were very hesitant, but we've had a good response, and we've come back up to about 2/3 of our numbers, and everyone's happy. We've had a couple of cases of outbreaks around us. And I think the precautions have really saved everybody through this.
Awesome. I remember the moment when we could actually go back live, and it was just like, I didn't care. I think we taught maybe like 8 kids that day, but it was just like such a happy day to be able to do it again. Were you in the same boat?
Yeah. And as they start coming back in, you feel like, wow, there's more. Yes, yes, yes. And then we have the induction videos that we have to put them through, and I'm just like, we're playing you the video again, come guys. And by the like 5th guy in the class, he's like, okay, ma'am, I know the video by now. Because as the new one comes in, they redo induction.
What was the video for? Just protocols?
For the COVID requirements and what they needed to do through the school. I was very fortunate that I had a student that is an audio and visual, and decided to donate one video to us with a really professional voiceover and the comedy behind it within the video that was all animated for us. And it made it better for the kids to want to watch, because it's not a boring video, but it was animated and they could enjoy it as they went along, and they understood it better.
That's really cool. Is my feedback? Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yes,
awesome.
all great.
As far as the classes, do you have the, like, we have dots all over our mats. We have to wear the mask and all that, and 6 feet apart. What were some of the hardest things that you had to adjust as far as teaching class?
First, getting the supplies for everything, because everyone wouldn't have everything available to them. And we've seen how some of the students treat the masks, myself included. If it's in the car at the beginning, it's first nice and clean. At the end, you're just like, okay, you got a mask and you can get out and you can go. Our government made a requirement for everybody to wear a mask every time that you're out and about. And in class was just adjusting first from square training, and then we moved it over to area training. Kids come in, they wipe their feet before they step in, and it's just getting used to the masks and trying to keep that personal distance. I think the hardest for me was to keep the distance away from students. We're used to being interactive and being involved with them very close up, and this time we can't, and we can't wait for it to get back to normal.
Absolutely. Especially working with like the Tigers and Dragons, the 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. Having them spread out and trying to use your peripheral vision it's much harder.
Our class is laid out that way, so I'm used to that. But targets, we got extra targets in that were blow up, so we can use them better for the little ones, so they each had their own little targets. Otherwise, they cluster. They want to be with each other.
Right.
But I've got actually the dots on the floors became our teaching tools, and we're going to keep them afterwards because they really help with the kids now.
Yeah, I agree. I had some friends that used to do that, and I never had it, and it's amazing now.
Yeah, even hand one steps when you're working on the angles, we used to have to try to map it out with the ropes, and now we just use the dots on the floors, and the kids are loving it because they can get a better picture, and the overall perspective is better of the angles.
I like that idea. I didn't even think about that. I'm definitely going to use that.
Super.
So we got a little tidbit. We got a couple people saying hi. Our UK friends are saying hello. We got Tracy Digby from the UK. Lindsay, she says afternoon from a snowy and wet Great Britain. And Gaynor Russell as well says looking forward to seeing you again here, ma'am.
Oh, brilliant. They're stunning people. I can't wait to get back there again.
Yeah,
my mum lives out in the UK, and it's nice being able to do that double trip of Tankstedo and seeing her.
Absolutely. I have not had the pleasure to do it, but doing these interviews, it's been amazing. The support I've gotten from them, and then getting a chance to interview both Master Cons and some of the other masters from there. It's been amazing. You can feel the love of the Great Britain family.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. No, I love visiting the UK with the tanks that are there.
Awesome. So one of the things that I usually like to get started with is if you could share with us how you got started in the martial arts.
Oh, that's I got to blame on my mom. I had a lot of learning issues and struggles at school from a very young age, and they were looking for remedial training to go hand in hand with speech therapy and occupational therapy. So they found the late Master Bluchner that was specializing with that, and my mom signed me up in those classes. I wasn't very impressed. I couldn't do outdoor sports, so she got me on the indoor sports, and I was crying my first couple of classes, really didn't enjoy it much. I didn't want to kick, I didn't want to punch. And now it's 32 years later, and I'm still busy with World Tankstedo. So I was 8 years old when I started out. And Grandmaster Shin likes to tease that I was the little dragon, tiny tiger on his lap. I think I was a bit bigger than that, but so definitely, yeah, it's been a long route, but I went through all my childhood and pre-teens and varsity times with Tankstedo in my life.
Did you find any struggles like continuing through in Tankstedo in any of those moments coming up as a youth or teen and then going into your 20s?
Our struggle was when Master Bluchner passed away, trying to find a new school, trying to adjust to the new ways of doing things. It's hard to try to see somebody else take that role for you. And luckily I was fortunate to test with second Dan with him still. And Tankstedo was like 3-4 times a week in class from Monday to Thursdays, and then weekend trainings as well. So it was never difficult. It was kind of my foundation. So everything I had to do was based on Tankstedo. If I had a school event to go to, I first see if I'm busy at Tankstedo and then see if I do the event. So there was no real hassles there for me. It was my foundation and my stability.
Absolutely. I think I was a kid. I started when I was 21, so I didn't have it as a kid. And I had issues as far as like I wrote backwards and I had some dyslexia, and I wish that I had that outlet of the martial arts, because I can see, being a teacher, how it helps kids with learning disabilities to kind of figure things out because it's very tactile and physical, and it helps them learn in a different way.
It made a big difference for me, and in the long run, I ended up going from we played netball and field hockey at school. So I was on the reserve bench for netball when we started out, and By the time you finish up primary school, you're captain of the team, netball player of the year, and I was fortunate to receive awards for best balance with academics and sports.
Nice.
And I know all of that came from the Tangsado background.
Gotcha. What was the sport that you said?
Field hockey, outdoor hockey, and netball.
And netball?
Netball, yeah.
What is that? Is that soccer?
No, it's basically basketball where the girls play, but they can't run around with the ball. No bouncing, no dribbling. It's just stationary, and you got to pass the ball. So our sports are very much based on the Commonwealth sports with England.
Gotcha. I'll have to look that up because I've never heard of it.
Super.
Master Alan Sharp says, he says good morning from him. He's nice background. He likes your background. And
blocks out the lights.
He says you're an honorary Texan.
Yeah, finally. Super.
So that's actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about. We've never met personally, but I looked it up. We've been Facebook friends forever.
Yeah.
One of the things that always stood out to me was your graphics and your awesome pictures and things like you got the lion in the background. Actually, on both sides. Are you the artistic person? Do you have someone that does that for you?
I dabble in the graphics design, but I had a good friend help me with mine. And the lion comes from the family heritage that we have, and with the lion heart. So there's quite a bit of a backstory with our emblems and that. But the art side and the graphic side, Grandmaster Shin actually helped me change my degree. And I ended up studying in the field of marketing and communications. So a lot of it would be branding is just kind of second nature to me now. And I love getting the whole picture finished with all the branding. And it just to me kind of makes it feel like home here in the studio that we got our lions up and always comfortable with them.
Yeah, I love your logo.
Thank you.
It's one of those where I know what I like, but I can't draw it or I can't visualize it or tell someone how to do it. So to see yours laid out like that,
I think my friend Lisa kind of gets very annoyed with me because I'll tell her I have this idea, I want this, and she's got to make it happen. And she's like, "How?" I was like, "I don't know, but we got to get this done."
I don't know how to do it, but if you could do it for me, that'd be great.
That's it. And I'll sit there with hours with her, but we got to get it done with the way this. It's just like, can you leave so I can get the details done? Because you're like looking at every little detail.
Just come back when it's finished.
That's it.
So you mentioned Grandmaster Shin. Do you recall the first time? Do you have a story when you first met him, or some of your memories of meeting him and I guess sitting on his lap?
Well, that's definitely one of the first ones. I remember the last time I got to sit on his lap, I was brown belt. I think after that, it became too big for that.
Yeah.
But we look forward to seeing him every single year. He used to come through every year with us, especially after Master Blichner passed away. And he used to look after us and train us, inspire us every single year that he used to come in. And that was the one event I used to look forward to. And he used to put so many technical hours into our training. And if I have to go on stories, it wouldn't be that I would say I've got to do a lot of outings with him or private times. It would be that you were the grandkid. You weren't part of the adult conversations and you had to be on the sideline, but you were there with every event and every trip that we went somewhere. You'll see in the manuals, you've got volume 1 and 2. There's the pictures of him on the cliffs, and that's done in my town here. And we got to go with and look at the pictures and I have them done, but you wouldn't say that you were really right in the center of everything. As we got older, he used to, obviously, as you know, he knows everything about us. At first, yes, it was just the writing on your jackets, but after that, it wasn't about the writing on the jacket. He used to know us and speak to us for hours and mentor us. And he would sit and talk to me, why you're unhappy with your studies. And know things about my parents and my grandparents and see how things are going. An email here and there in the middle of the year, just checking in on everything. And he was very personable when it came to those type of things. It made everything special.
That's awesome. It's interesting because I kind of had that same. I like the way you put that, as you're kind of at the kids' table. You're
Yeah.
there for everything. I definitely had that same thing where he would be at the regional events, and it's like, oh man, it's Grandmaster Shin, and you would see everything happening from afar, and be a part of it, but not necessarily in the thick of things.
Yes. But ironically, he would still always come to us and involve us even as young black belts. So that was very, very special. And even like the days that he brought his daughter, Catherine, through to South Africa. I think that was 98. I tested for third Dan then, and his daughter was there, and they did a trip through the Kruger National Park and got to see some of the wildlife. And he was, even his family was welcome to come through. And I think he was a lot more relaxed here in South Africa because he didn't have to have it as formal as other places.
As far as Tong Sudo in your area, are you kind of out by yourself, or do you have any local studios near you as far as the association goes?
Other Tang Soo Do organizations, there's quite a couple, but for World Tang Soo Do in Northwest, the province I'm in, I'm the only one. But Botswana's border is pretty close by. They're about 4 hours away, just needing to cross the border there. And there's a great instructor there, Lebo Ramagang, that's on that side. He's the third Dan now. And then we've got Pretoria and Johannesburg that's busy booming with their schools now as well, and Centurion. So there's 3 schools out that side. It's also 2 hours away. So they're not too far. Sadly, we're far from Cape Town. That's a good 16 hours drive away from our new great regional director, Master Schwalbeck.
Wow, 16 hours.
So it's bigger for Botswana than Cape Town.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to think of that as still being in the same region.
Our region's pretty large now. We've got Seychelles included. Mauritania has come into the picture. That's at the west of Africa. And then we've got Botswana and Seychelles and Mozambique as well. So it's a pretty big region.
Right. So you mentioned talking about Grandmaster Shin, and he encouraged you to change your degree. I think I read where he encouraged you to start your own studio and then eventually get your own location. Can you talk about the path of starting your own club and then going forward from there?
Sure. I ended up moving back from Johannesburg back to Rustenburg, my regional hometown. Wanted to be near to where my dad was living and being close to the family. And there was a new generation coming through for World Tang Soo Do. Sadly, being so far away from everybody, there used to be a bad history that once people used to reach third Dan, they thought they couldn't progress any further. The master level felt so elusive and far away that they couldn't connect with that. And sadly, people would either stop training at third Dan or change to a different organization. So he asked us to be the new generation, and he wanted us to set up one home base to say you've got your stability and the schools will develop around that and from that. And he's asked us then to set it up. That was in 2009. And in 2012, we got our permanent venue, and we've been running very strong since then.
Awesome. How do you feel now? Do you still, obviously, I think with Facebook and media, being able to connect with people, I'm sure it's easier to get some direction and instruction. Do you feel it's different now than it used to be, like being as far as being kind of out by yourself?
Only after being to the master clinic did that change.
Okay.
Making those one-on-one personal connections started changing that. The pieces before that, if you weren't somebody that was quick on the typing or felt comfortable writing to people that you didn't know, it wouldn't have just happened. After Master Blichner passed away, Grandmaster Shin brought 3 extreme mentors into the country for us. And the first in 1995 was Master Khan, and then Master Godwin followed, and then Grandmaster Strong. And Kwanjinim, I think he came twice after that then. And the big thing then is that we had mentors that we would train, and we got videos and we train with them, but it was never that same connection as that one-on-one, the same as when we got to the Master Clinic. The Master Clinic changed everything for us. The doors opened up. You then saw people that you would see in the World Champs videos, you see them in person, and you, like, we trained on the same floor, but you wouldn't just have the guts or the courage to walk up to somebody and say, hi, I know you. So that broke down a lot of barriers. And then the globalization of the technology that would help you out became accessible and useful. And I see it now in some of the younger instructors, that they're nervous to contact people, and because is it the right thing? Can I contact this person? Am I allowed to? So when you just introduce them and you break down those barriers for them, then their technology helps out.
Gotcha. That's great to look at it. What year did you go to Master's Clinic? When was your first year?
2010.
2010. Who were some of the first connections you made at Master's Clinic?
I was with somebody named Baron, Mary Baron. She was brilliant to room with there. I had Tatiana as a roommate, and then Giselle, and then the Havoc started. But Holly Inosha was also one of them that was great at the clinics to work with there. So Master Inosha was very, very good with that. But I really got to turn around and say thank you to Master Hutchinson. I wrote out as a mass email to some of the instructors out there, and this random persons, please, can you help me with training? I've never met you. Can I come and stay by you and train? And Master Hutchinson just opened up his house 3 years in a row and said, come here, train, don't worry about anything. And he changed World Tank Judo for me from the foundation up, of what brotherhood was, what family was, and getting to stay with him for 3 weeks every year really changed things for me.
That's amazing. Not surprising with Master Hutchinson. I've heard the stories of him basically being a hub for people coming into the country to come and train and then go to Master's Clinic. So it just warms my heart to know that those connections are made just because, like, hey, I'm in World Home Judo Association. Can I come? And there's no question. It's just like, yes, absolutely. That's
it. And when you get to him, he introduces you to some of the other schools in the area, and then you get to know them. I was fortunate to get to meet Master Lappin and visit at her school and train there. And then when you get to the clinic, he doesn't baby you because you're like, oh, I need somebody to stick to. And he's like, go, figure it out yourself. But then every now and again, he'll come and check in on you and make sure that you're coping and so forth. But the cherry on top was Grandmaster Shin again. You'll be sitting there at the clinic and you don't know anybody, and then he'll pull you out and talk to you as if he knows you, and everyone turns and looks at you, and then you're like, okay, well, I belong. I'm good here. And after that, the interaction just kept on kind of rolling through, because Mrs. Montgomery came through to South Africa, and before World, she landed up hosting myself and Ma'am Danelle, she's sitting upstairs here now, and one of our other students, Nico, she took us in, and we trained by them and Master Scoter School. So, I mean, there's really, really special and dear people in this association.
Absolutely. I got a chance to meet Master Scoter this year at Kwanjinim Bodwin's funeral. He rolled in by himself, and we had a car, so we brought him into our Region 8 family for the weekend, and I just had a great time with him.
He's fantastic. I got to meet him the first time in Argentina at the Master Clinic there, and I remember getting up underneath one of the trees, standing up because it was so hot, and we've been training along. And I grunted a little bit and he goes, "That's not dignified." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So you got to get up, and he keeps you going. And you look at these older masters and you're like, okay, they can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely. We were talking earlier about as you're a fifth dan master, and I got some information from headquarters early or late 2019 that had a list, and you're one of 18 female masters, and this kind of goes along with a question that Master Alan Sharp posted. He said, "Wait," and he used the Master V. He said Master V.
He's gorgeous.
As a female senior master, what message would you give aspiring female Tongsudo Dans to elevate their training and involvement in the WTSDA?
I would easily sum it up in one line. Dream without fear and love without limits. If you can do that, there's no one that can has more compassion as ladies when they're teaching and when they're busy going through life. And like that, we're able to affect more students, and that's what our goals are as masters, is to serve and give back to the students. The thing is, then we got to be able to dream, and we got to have the courage to move forward and not give up and face those challenges ourselves. And we got to do it limitlessly. Don't have boundaries, don't have barriers, and just keep breaking through the ceiling of our limitations that the world is setting on us and not we setting on ourselves.
I love that, and I support that 100%, especially being a partner with my wife, Master Erin Watson. I teach, and people like me, but when she comes into the room and teaches, it's like, oh, Master Watson's teaching, and I love it, and you just feel the energy, like you said. It's just different. It's different. When you can feel that energy from someone, that's just natural. She's a leader, and right, and like you're a leader, and people look up to you as a master, as a martial artist, and that's where you're a martial artist. You're not a female martial artist. You're a martial artist, and you work hard at what you do, and it's appreciated worldwide now. And I think that's really special.
Yeah, and I had a look at last week Saturday night. Okay, I taught at 12 p.m. I think the Argentina girls class started at their time 5 o'clock, and I went on at their time 6 o'clock. And it's just amazing to see so many ladies in that femme class. And even though you stumble and you stutter while you're busy trying to get your message across, and you forget to let them translate for you, and you feel like so silly when you walk away. But at the end of the day, those ladies all came together, and they don't know each other. And where I say talking about impact and influences, when I went through to Argentina, it was 2012. I met a young girl there, Daniela, and she invited me then for the master, for the ladies, the femme class now. And I could remember who she was. She was like, "What, you can remember?" I was like, I mean, she was one of the special ladies. You remember the hair, and as girls remember different things about each other. And there was also Valeria that was there, and we meet them. And this is the first time I got to see them in 8 years. And it's in a quick 2-hour session online, and it's nice to connect that way with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it's virtual, it's still something, and it's still, like you said, it means something 8 years later. In everything that's going on right now, it's just nice to see familiar faces and connect any way that
that's it. I mean, I've had discussions with Master Dawn Khan, and I tried to explain to her that in 1995, Master Khan changed my life, but he doesn't remember who you are. You were just one of them in the crowd, and I still will give credit and homage to him for everything that he did through all those years, even though he has no clue. And I now, at the moment, we've been fortunate to bring Master Benelli to South Africa. I was able to take 2 students up to Seychelles to meet Master Khan there when he did a clinic with Master 4. And I want them to have that same influence that these masters had on me as a youth kid, and as a young black belt, and to change their lives. And I think that started happening now.
That's great.
So
And like
yeah.
you said, if you didn't help them do that, they may never have done that, because people get nervous, especially Master Khan, right?
Yeah.
And talking with him, he said that, he's like, if anyone wants to come up and talk to me, they can do it. Like, you shouldn't have that boundary, like, just come up and say hi. But at the same time, it's hard. So to have someone actually take you and visit with you, I think that means a lot to someone.
Yeah, it changes you. So yeah, we are brave masters, and but at the end of the day, I still remember Master Bluchner turned around and said, "Yeah, we might be the legends, but we still need someone to hold our hands." So even though you're learning at the beginning, you still need someone to take you through the steps, and it can be from the training on the floor to doing something new in life, or even just meeting somebody higher up that you feel that, oh, you can't go up to them, you can. And recently, now in November, we hosted a ladies' day, and through COVID times, we couldn't believe that we had a full hall, filled up, almost overfilled, and it was nice to see the older ladies train with the younger girls and the little girls, and didn't matter what rank and what age, everybody came together and they had a blast together. And that interaction was, it's very unique. It's a different side of our tank sudo that we don't normally get to see as the girls, because they're always training in different classes and they don't get to meet each other. So that was really great. And so while you're talking about the branding, they're called the dandelions in our school, then, all the girls, when we do the ladies' days.
Nice. A couple people are saying hi. David Weibel says, much love from the Weibels.
Cool. He's also in Texas. He's brilliant.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Gaynor says MasterCon has changed all of our lives here in the UK. And Rodrigo says, saludos from Mexico.
Cool.
So we talked earlier about you usually do a Friday weapons day. What weapons do you use in your dojang?
All right. Within the school, we do practice obviously the Korean sword and archery as well. So we love the archery. But after a knee injury and a knee operation I had, I started getting back into the nunchucks, and I'm starting to love the flow nunchuck drills and the little tricks that we can do with it. And I love the trick side to go with the traditional side for the kids. We don't easily have the hyper and the dynamic type of different weapons trainings here in the country. So I would have to go and research and find out how, and get one of the kids to learn it if I can't get something done. And but the nunchucks are definitely one of the new nice flow drills that we like to do within the school. That goes with the Korean archery and the sword training.
How did you get into doing
Through Gumiyi. This is a goal I have for the age of 50. I'm absolutely petrified of horses. And everybody can ride a horse and not look like a fool. I want to be able to ride a horse and shoot an archery bow before I'm 50. I've got enough time to get it done.
But you're not going to the archery belt on the horse, right?
Oh yeah, that's the goal.
Oh, excellent.
That's the goal.
Have you started on the goal yet? Are you riding horses now?
On the horse riding?
Yeah.
No. I got laughed at again. So I've got to go figure out how to have the guts to go back there.
Oh.
But the archery's still got a lot of work to do, and it's an extra hobby to have on the side, which keeps you going. And it's great to learn the different knowledge about the Korean systems and the Korean weaponry that goes with it as well.
Now, do you do that at the dojang? Do you have archery classes there, or is it just?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. That's really cool.
Yeah, we had to adjust some pieces within the school, but we're fortunate that we got a brick-faced venue, and we're able to put up the different targets and change the head of the bows, of the arrows, that we can work with them indoors and outdoors.
And as far as the Korean sword goes, we've had the sword forms here in the World Tang Soo Do for a while, but only since I'm trying to think, probably the like 2004, 2005 is when the sword forms were introduced. Other than the long sword form, Jangam-hyung.
Yeah, Jangam-hyung was my first one, so that's when I got down pretty well. But the other two, I always had to go back and go work on them a bit.
Just thinking back or doing that form, knowing that that was the first introduction to sword in our association is kind of crazy. It's like, yeah, that form has a roll in it.
Yeah.
With
And
the
then
sword.
I remember the first time I tried to roll with a scabbard in, and then you find out, well, that you've got to kind of move it, and there's different ways of doing it. And that's what sparked the curiosity to go and get extra knowledge and learn more and find out for yourself. And that's kind of what our progress was here in the 2000s, is we had to go find the work and go learn it ourselves and get better at it.
So what did you do, like Heidong Gumdo?
Gumiyi,
And
yeah.
do you still work, do you still do that training now?
Still attempting it.
Yes. Better than the horse riding?
Yes, better than horse riding. Yeah, but sadly, I don't get a lot of time for it because I still like to put Tangsito for first and foremost. It's first on the agenda, and if I can't make one of those training sessions, Tangsito comes first.
Yeah, I totally understand that. My side hobby is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Tong Sudo comes first, and that gets pushed away more often than not.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So as far as traveling throughout the association, when was the first time you had the opportunity to travel from your own dojang to go to, whether it was another country or another continent, to train?
That was my first Worlds, 1994.
Okay.
I was very, very early teen. I think I was like 12, 13 when I got to go. And we got to go in a team, and it was hard for my parents to let me leave the country without their supervision and go with Master Blichner to Worlds. And that was definitely the foundation to stick with the organization for life. Because from there, you've always had this dream that you want to get back to Worlds, get back to Worlds.
And after that, you had the opportunity to get back to Worlds and compete?
Not to compete, no, I didn't do any more. We did 96, and then I waited for master levels. It was tricky at that stage because of with the different schooling that we had, the cost behind it. The cost is exceptional for students on this side. And then when I got to varsity, because you have to choose varsity or go to Worlds. So you got to pick your battles, and then regionals was also outside the country. So if it was out the country, then you'd always go to Tanger regionals. And since they've made our regionals every second year, odd years to the Worlds, we're able now to do regionals and Worlds, and it's a lot better on our budget.
Have you had the opportunity to host any regional tournaments or events?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I used to love competing, but yeah, I'm happy that time is over now. My nerves have a shot now.
Well, at this point, as instructors, I get just as much of a rush watching my students compete and do well and see the joy on their faces competing, and I'm sure you're the same.
Yeah, recently now it was with the lockdown DAN testings. I think I was more nervous than they were. So it's going to age us.
So did you have to do the testings via Zoom?
Yes, sir. We were fortunate that the venue was available for them to test in, but the panel had to come through via Zoom.
How do you feel? It's we did GUP testings through Zoom, and it's just a weird experience.
I was fortunate because I ran a lot of my GUP classes with private classes on Zoom. I only did twice a week with the main groups, and I was able to work with them a lot closer that way. We were stuck at home. You're in lockdown. You got nothing to do, so we booked the whole day up with training, and it definitely passed time. I went from my living room to my garage being built up to being the training hall. And we did allow them to test until Greenbelt via Zoom, but our lockdown didn't last very long. So then they were able to come back into classes and do the testing there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like that was more work by far than like teaching in person, because you're doing private lessons all day, and then you're doing the group sessions at night. We were doing them Monday and Thursday.
And then the creativity that has to come with it. Spinning kick day, we had Tasmanian devils inside the classrooms. Jumping kick day, we took out the guitar heroes and they were jumping with the guitar heroes.
Nice, that's awesome.
And then the targets was all these different forms of teddy bears, and it was the pieces that they had to jump over for fitness in class. And I got one beautiful picture of a mom kicking her kid, and he went flying with his teddy bear off to the side. So at least we got some videos of all the kicking that happening, and because normally these things happen in class and you got the story, but you don't have the proof to go and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch, and we got to do the retakes on those ones.
That's fantastic. Nicole Berger says hi from Giansa MAW in South Africa. Thank you for your leadership.
She's brilliant, stunning lady. Yeah, awesome. She's one of them that's about 2 hours away.
Wow.
Now, and I think she's going to make a fantastic dam member within the next year.
Excellent. Kiana Powell says Tong Su. Gus Rogers says I know her.
Gus is good.
Yeah, he's great. And Master Sharp said that he will take you horse riding the next time you come to Texas.
I need the boots first, sir.
That's right.
Any excuse to go shopping.
That's right. Get her the boots and she'll go horse riding with you. So after we talk about worlds and traveling, you talked about it a little bit earlier, going to the various masters clinics and having the opportunity to go to European, everyone, right? You've been to
yes,
masters clinics.
Yes.
How did you get that opportunity? Was that one of those where you reached out and you asked to come, or were you invited?
I wasn't able to make the worlds when the year that Grandmaster Shin passed away. And he then said, okay, we'll move it down to Argentina. I was trying to get my dad to go with me. And then we got the news 2 weeks later that Grandmaster Shin had passed away. I think about a month later. So we were then trying to shift the Worlds one through to Argentina, because it being December, it's our quiet time of the year. Because the clinic was still in December then, not November like now. And then the UK one was with work and getting to see my mom. So we found out when the clinic was and try to make sure that we went through at the same time. Gotcha. So it's just a case of writing to Gideon, finding out times, and they open up the doors for you so quickly. Master Alvarez kind of surprises. We tried to arrive in Argentina a day early, and with nobody else there, so we can go sightseeing. You can't arrive in that country or within the countries for World Tanks to do early that no one will know you or not see you. As we got there, the guys were there in formal blues waiting for us. So they're very eager to have people attend there and participate with.
What year was that when you first did that clinic?
That was 2012. I'd love to go again to that one.
Yeah, I really want to go to the Latin America clinic.
And then the UK one, the first one I got was 2015. And then in 2018, I was able to test that side.
And did you get promoted there too?
Yes, sir. I tried to go back there where my mom was, because the stories of Grandmaster Bode when he says, go and do your testing and do your promotions where your family can witness it. And that would be the best option I had for my mom, who had been mom's taxi all the years to all the training sessions, been through all the blood noses and the tears and stitching of uniforms that she's done through all the years. that was like the best time for her to be able to witness. I would even say like a ending of a life cycle, from her taking me to my first session to seeing the master's presentation.
Yeah, that was amazing and a great moment for her. My oldest, a couple years ago, got her black tested and passed her black belt, and I felt all the emotions on that. I can't imagine.
Yeah. If it wasn't for one of my students there with her, looking after her, Danal Katsir, yeah, she would have been an absolute, how would you put it? An embarrassment almost, because it's just tears and wants to hug and in front of everybody, and you're still there. You're like, no, not now, just wait a bit. So.
Master Marco says hello, my testing buddy. I guess he's
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Talking about testing buddies, I mean, sadly we lost Master Bernardi that tested with us as well. So it makes you realize how short time is and how much you got to appreciate it. But we got to meet them as well in Seychelles, and his wife started training there, and they're just unbelievable people that you get to meet that side.
Yeah, Master Khan talked about that Seychelles event a lot, and it seemed like a really special moment.
It was very, very special. It was unique.
So we've talked about Master Sharp and Giselle. You've had the opportunity to do some work with her on the HDL, the Huangdong League. Could you talk about that a little bit?
This is one of the initiatives and programs I love of the association, where there's development of youth next to female development. I get very, very excited. And I remember at Master Clinic, they were working on a presentation for Grandmaster, and I had to be the test dummy, that they present with. And I saw the presentation to Grandmaster, and I won't ever forget how his eyes lit up. He saw an idea, he molded it, and the program has been phenomenal for the kids. Other than just having the Dragon demonstration team that are the future leaders of the association and role models and mentors that can go out and reach other students, and that, like for myself, my own students aspire to. I have their posters that they designed with the 5 codes and 7 tenets on, and my students are constantly looking at them and saying, oh wow, there's a black belt that's a youth student, because they didn't get to see it in class here yet. And so having those mentors for the youth to look up to is very, very important. But the part I liked the most was the Tiny Tiger, not the Tiny Tiger, but the Tiger Camp part. You didn't have to be part of the Dragon demonstration team. You could attend the Tiger Camp, you can learn, you can grow, you can experience what brotherhood is. What we wait for Master Clinic, these kids are getting to do at a gut belt level and early Dan level. And it's unbelievable that they get to do it with members from around the world, around the US, and then they're getting to know different cultures and making pen pals from around the world so quickly. I remember years back with Master Bluchnote, he used to carry a little box with him of us writing letters to our friends at the other school, and he used to take this postman pad box up and down for us. The kids are doing it now off their phones, and they're doing it internationally, and they're looking out for each other and training with each other just via their phones as well. So those connections they are making, not just with the Dragon team, but with the Tiger team, and being accessible to everybody, is unbelievable. The initiative is out of this world, and it's real. It's not just a vision or a dream. She's made it happen.
Yeah, you said about, sorry, I got a notification. You said earlier about your bringing in the Master's Clinic is where things opened up, and kind of like you said, that's happening for kids now, and it's going to hopefully get them anchored in even at an earlier age, because you know that happened 20 years into your martial arts training. Not that you didn't have connections ahead of that, but if you had access to something like the HDL as a kid, it probably, you know, would have been invaluable.
That's exactly, it's priceless what they can achieve there. And even the instructors that are there, they're influencing other instructors. They influenced me. I can bring back skills back to my school. It can be from a simple foot action that I learned from Linda Rousseau, master. She's impeccable, and those kids are taking that home, and that knowledge is spreading around in the association as well. So it's the connections they're making, plus the knowledge getting put in at a foundation level for these kids that we only got at a master level.
Have you had any of your students have the opportunity to work with the either of the teams?
Yeah, I was fortunate to have Nicola Beppe on a couple of the Tiger camps, and then we went through for the Dragon camp. So it really helped.
And then they come back, and I'm sure the other students see that, see them training hard, and they're probably almost like a celebrity. It's like, wow, you got to train with all those people?
No, not even,
No?
because they come back humbled.
Yeah, sure.
And they just get back into training, and but the influence that you see is subtle. That person's moving quicker, moving faster, has different ways of inspiring students around him, because what he's learned to do in the team there to inspire and support each other rubs off very privately in class, and you'll see the influence coming off very subtly through the students. But when they come back humbled, it's very nice to see.
Sure. As far as your dojo, do you have help as far as like assistant instructors and people that are assisting you behind the scenes or with classes?
I think like any school, we got a lot of people helping us behind the scenes. I've got Ma'am Danao Couture that helps out in the school. If it's not from running on the floor, I think also emotional and a support that she does for me, and instructing on the sideline. She likes the one-on-one classes, so she does a lot of that for me, where I get to do the main groups. But the emotional support is priceless that she can bring to the school. And we've got new up-and-coming instructor trainees. But as the main instructor, yeah, I'm kind of at the moment.
Push the feet a different way.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's see, we're getting close to our time as
Not a problem.
yeah. Are there any other things that you'd like to talk about before we wrap up?
No, not at this stage.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah, everything's good.
You talked about motivating and being mentors to the females in World Hong Sudo. And as I say that, Noreen Khan says sending hugs from the UK.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, so there are some amazing female martial artists in the World Hong Sudo, but we could always use more.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any, I guess, words of advice or encouragement for those of not just girls, but anyone out there that sees a master out there and wants to push farther and continue their training?
I would start out with be brave. Go up to them and talk to them. You'll be surprised they're more shy than what you are. And the big thing is just don't give up. Keep pushing, keep trying. That dream without fear and love without limits. It's kind of just sums it all up for me. That if they stick to that, everything will happen. Our school motto is Jim Shim Raw, all heart. And I think if you put your heart into everything that you do, it will work out for you. No matter how many times you bump your head, we got strengths, we got weaknesses, and hone your strengths, make them work for you. And if you got those weaknesses, find support systems around you. People will help you work on them, and they will become your strengths in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this earlier, where as martial artists, teachers, we push that the nervous, afraid to talk to people side to the back because we know how much what we do can affect people in a positive way. And I say this sometimes where every martial artist that I talk to do these interviews, they're like, "Oh, I don't really. This is not my thing." And
No.
I think people are surprised to hear that when, you know, I can put you in front of, you know, dozens of people to teach a martial arts class, or make you get up early or stay up late to teach a Zoom class, and you'll be like, absolutely. But when it comes to talking to us about ourselves, it's
No, we don't do that.
a little harder.
One of the impeccable guys from the UK, someone named Gus Rogers there, he's not shy in front of the camera and that at all. Yet he's still one of the shyest people you're going to meet. So it doesn't matter who we are. Even if on that Zoom class that I had to teach the other night, before that, I think the sweat started pouring. You start panicking, and part of it is you don't want to disappoint. And I think that keeps us on our toes as well. You don't want to disappoint anyone around you because you know the value of what can come out of your mouth. Our mouths can be as sharp as a blade, and we have to have compassion when we talk to our students.
Absolutely. I had the chance to teach my wife and I on one of Master Benelli's classes, and I was right after Master Khan. It's like so nervous. It's like, how do I follow that up?
No, hey, but Sebastian Master Benelli is one of the most compassionate members of the association and assets to the association I've ever met, and he's like a big brother to me. So if he asks you to teach, teach. But yeah, you do die.
Yeah, he's amazing. I know there's people all over the world that have gotten so much out of those classes that he's offered, and it's you know, it just speaks again to our association family and the brotherhood and sisterhood that we have throughout the world.
Yeah, I think I took one of your classes, Tom, because I got to do 19 out of the 20 classes. And I was happy when you made them earlier.
Yes. Yeah, right. You're so much farther
Yeah,
back.
it was midnight, 1 o'clock that we were busy still.
Oh wow. All right. Finishing up, just a couple more people. Giselle finally jumped on and says, "Love Master A. She's amazing. Miss you."
I love it to bits.
Linda Morris says, "Incredible leadership. Keep up amazing work. You've certainly touched many lives and left a trail of positivity."
Oh, thanks. All right, to Linda after this.
I think that's a positive. You know, if one of the things that in talking with you, you seem very positive in everything that you talk about, and you know, it seems like it's infectious. You know, reading the responses from everyone.
That's too sweet of them, but thank you, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure getting a chance to talk to you and learn more about your story.
And I hope to do it in person, sir, one day soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd love to have a chance to chat at Master's Clinic or you know, maybe we'll all go to Texas and learn how to ride horses together.
Yes. Go get the boots first.
Yes. Yeah. No, I can't wait. All of the ladies, my kids and my wife got boots last year for a wedding. And so I'm the only bootless person. So I'll have to come with you.
Then with you.
Yeah. I'll have to come with boots to get boots with you in Texas.
Stunning.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Tung Su.
All the best. Greetings. Take care.